Hello, Rich from PCGamesN here, and Total War Warhammer 2 is out, and it's a blast. We do have guides for each of the 4 launch races available on our YouTube and on our site, but we also picked up a number of miscellaneous tips that should help you seize the Vortex no matter what your allegiance, so we'll go through them today. Number 1, get Goody Huts. So here's a thing to do on your very first turn. Hire a lord, put them to sea, and chase down every skull reef that you can. These are the best of the game's new ocean-born Goody Huts, and they each give 10,000 gold plus a magic item. Obviously, that's ridiculous, especially in the early game. Number 2, protecting your characters. So lords and heroes can now attain level 40, but I'm pretty sure they get killed rather than wounded a lot more often. Here's how to deal with that. This might be because there's a new immortality skill at the top of the character sheet, and Creative Assembly have decided that they're allowed to make the world a little more fatal to balance that out. Either way, immortality will mean that your lords will always be wounded rather than killed, so it's good to unlock as soon as it becomes available. Number 3, stop marching. Related to the above, march stance is a lot more precarious now in that it no longer allows you to retreat when attacked. Use it recklessly, and it's a great way to find yourself in fights that you can't win and can't escape. So use it to chase down that last ritual-spawned stack of Chaos Marauders in your heartlands, fine, but not when advancing into enemy territory. Number 4, garrisons are that hot new thing. Between these new ritual-spawned Chaos stacks, the new rogue armies, and rival interventions, Total War Warhammer 2 has a way of throwing a lot of unexpected threats at you out of nowhere. In this context, garrisons have risen to the top of the settlement configuration meta, which is a thing that is definitely a thing. Provincial capitals also have more building slots, so lack of space is no excuse not to bolster your defences. In settlements that are also ritual resource sites, you'll notice that the ritual currency building chains will add forces to the garrison as well. Which brings us on to number 5, defence during a ritual. So about these rituals, it takes 5 rituals to unlock the final battle, which you'll then need to win in order to claim the Vortex victory. All rituals last 10 turns, apart from the 5th, which lasts 20. When you complete each ritual, you can look forward to stacks of Chaos Warriors and later Skaven spawning randomly in your territory. This will happen twice during the 5th ritual. It's nothing to worry about until Ritual 3, when the enemy stacks get a lot stronger, and from Ritual 4 onwards you can expect 5 full stacks at each spawning. What's most annoying about these stacks is that they tend to spawn where you're most vulnerable. I reloaded a couple of autosaves and moved my troops around to see if I could defend myself better, only to find that the invaders then spawn somewhere else, away from my newly positioned troops. My current theory is that they avoid your armies as a first priority and spawn near your ritual cities as a second, without a bias for any one of them, unlike interventions, which generally spawn close to one specific unlucky settlement. Now this can lead to some very weird spawns. In my Tyrian playthrough, one of my ritual cities was on Tor Elisor, south of the Southlands, while all the rest were on Ulthuan. Weirdly, this led to all of the Chaos stacks appearing in Arabai, miles away from anything that I owned, which suited me fine. As Mazdamundi, however, I managed to get all 5 stacks to drop miles away from my carefully protected ritual sites, and next to my most vulnerable cities instead. All observations suggest that they will only ever move toward a ritual city, but they've no qualms about raising vulnerable settlements on their way. So your number 1 priority during a ritual is obviously to protect your ritual cities, to ensure that none of them get taken and you won't have to go through this nonsense again. To guarantee this, you'll want a high-tier garrison building and a full stack of your own in each ritual city, at the very least. This should guarantee that the invaders will have to besiege you rather than attack directly. If they're only 1 stack, your army plus your garrison should be strong enough to break the siege next turn. This should be how the majority of your fights against the invaders will go, because they aren't very good at reinforcing each other. They will sometimes do it by accident, by moving on the same city individually, but I haven't seen them deliberately wait for each other so as to double team you. If that ever does happen, you'll want to isolate each army from its reinforcements. Lightning strike attacks are good for doing this, as are ambushes, and if you're Skaven, the stalking stance. If you have the money, we also recommend running a 4th fully stacked army to run around, mop up invaders, and help you lift sieges. Number 6, winning. What with all the hype around the Vortex campaign victory, it's worth reminding you that you can technically win Total War Warhammer 2 the old-fashioned way, through the domination victory. For this, you need to eliminate all legendary lords not of your own race, and to control 50 provinces through either direct ownership, vassalization, or military alliances. Now, compared to the Vortex victory, this is hard. If you pursue it, you'll probably get most of the way to the Vortex victory anyway. Ordinary settlements provide a trickle of ritual currency, and the domination win requires you to expand so much that overall it'll add up to quite a lot more than a trickle. Plus, you'll be taking everyone else's ritual resource sites anyway, so all of this conquest will probably put you ahead in the race for the Vortex, whether intentionally or not. So to win by domination, you'd have to actively choose not to win the Vortex victory, and stop everyone else from doing it first. Seems like a lot of work. Number 7, your Vortex rivals are not your friends. Both the Vortex and the domination victories will require you to fight the other major powers at some point, so don't get used to cordial relations. Completing the 4th ritual locks you into a permanent war with all your other Vortex rivals, while the domination victory requires you to eliminate them all, as we've just said. So, as nice as it feels to be trading with Mazdamundi when you're playing as Teclis, one imagines them getting together and talking about how much they hate chaos or something, you've got to kill your toady friend eventually. So plan ahead with that in mind. Number 8, who does everyone hate? Now this tip's a little bit obvious for Total War veterans, but it was so effective in one of my playthroughs I thought I'd mention it again. If you want to make people like you, scan the diplomacy screen and the diplomacy overlays to answer the question, who does everyone hate? Figure out which faction has the most current wars and then go join in the pile-on. You'll get an instant boost just from being at war with everybody's grudge, and any substantial losses you inflict on them will earn you further credits. After losing most of my trade partners during my Tyrian playthrough thanks to too much Vortex progress, I quickly replaced them when it finally came time to take out Clan Pestilence. I even got to neutral standing with the Dark Elf faction by doing this. Had I noticed that everyone else hated the Skaven as much as I do, I would have attacked them much sooner. And number 9, there was a Marauder Lord named Kylus Death Metal in my High Elf campaign. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. And that's about it. 8 tips and 1 tidbit, I suppose, for success in Total War Warhammer 2. Which faction are you playing first? Let us know down in the comments. Give us a like if you enjoyed, subscribe and share. We have plenty more Total War Warhammer 2 content and general PC gaming content on our YouTube channel and our website. I'm off to finish my Malekith campaign. Until we see you next time, take care.